Okay, we're back. This Saturday, there will be a colleges combine at the Manny Ramjohn Stadium. Sort of like a coaching clinic kind of thing for the best of the best. It's starting at 10 a.m. A few coaches from Global Premier Soccer will be here to scout a few of our top college players. Coach and consultant of GPS, Anthony Roy, is here with us tonight in TNT to coordinate the program along with President of the SSFL, William Wallace. Both men are uniquely positioned to continue the debate, secondary schools football helping or hurting. I want to introduce the two gentlemen tonight and start with what is going to happen on Saturday, is it?
Yes, it is.
Saturday at 10 a.m. Colleges combine. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome back, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you for having us.
And Mr. Roy, you are here from Global
Premier Soccer.
Yes,
sir.
First of all, tell me a little bit about that organization.
Okay, Global Premier Soccer, we are based in Boston. We are in 26 states and about 12 to 15 different countries, from China, Portugal, a number of countries around the world. With over 100 and something kids we work with. We are the North American representative for our brand Munich, and we also in Europe, we represent our club Valencia, our Spanish powerhouse team.
And tell me, why in TNT?
Well, as you can hear from my accent, I'm a Trinidadian, and I played in.
I couldn't tell. But go right there.
Yes, I played in the college league way back when, back in the 80s. I attended Mokrapo, so I played with the Russ Russells and the Clint Marcells and the Todd Willis and all these guys.
Right.
And having lived in America for a while, I came back home after 13 years and I, started following the league again and seeing some of the issues that was transpiring. So, I decided to, put myself in the ring with the company that I work for, and contacted Mr. Wallace, and we've been having conversations and putting things in place to get things going forward.
Right. So, Global Premier Soccer, when you got the call, Mr. Wallace, was it a matter of seeing how you can work with them and why you decided to work with them?
Well, pleasant good evening to you, Joel, and to the viewers in Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, once anybody comes to the SSFL with an idea that we think can benefit our young people, we always have the conversation. I think when Anthony called me and he told me what they were willing to propose to us, as a matter of fact, we were invited to the US to their convention earlier in the year, so we got a full understanding of what GPS is doing. And of course, after that convention, we felt that definitely they can contribute to our young people in Trinidad and Tobago.
So, colleges combined, is this the first time that they are here collaborating with the SSFL?
Well, actually, we have forged this partnership, and this is the first time that the SSFL is getting directly involved in a project like this. And this is something that we are going to continue to be involved in. We are actually working on a scholarship program, Joel. And of course, I'm here now asking Corporate Trinidad to be able to come on board with that. We want to be able to work with our students, not allow them to just try to go out there on their own. So we want to be able to prepare them, for example. We have the SATs and other forms of preparation to enter US colleges. We want to be able to help them with that, as far as probably paying for that tuition and helping them along the way. And of course, with GPS at our side, who is going to basically create a pathway for them. We definitely see that this is a win-win for SSFL and GPS.
Right. So Anthony, let's talk about how GPS will do exactly what Mr. Wallace is hoping will happen for our students. Create a pathway, I suppose, for scholarships and opportunities in football and otherwise. On Saturday, 10 a.m. at Manny Ramjohn Stadium. It's being called Colleges Combined. The phrase may not be very familiar here in TNT. Explain what happens on Saturday. Is it the best of the best of the best was selected to appear here, or is it that all these players from all over, anybody who wants to come can come? Tell us what's going to happen on Saturday.
Well, first to begin, I must state that on Sunday, you having the best of the best in the college league playing. So we did not really wanted to get those players to come across and play on Saturday, knowing that they're playing on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So what we did practically is that we open up the doors to kids who are interested in going to school abroad, because we also going to be viewing that game on Sunday, the best of the best. So we wanted to let those kids get the proper rest so they could come out and really perform on Sunday. So we can handpick kids in that midst who we think can go out there and really make a mark for themselves. But the door is open for Saturday itself. The door is open for kids who really want to come. And I have to be honest with you, we have a number of kids already registered. I have kids calling me sometimes, to be honest with you, 11:30 last night, I was receiving calls. Kids coming in, sending emails, how to register, how do we get involved? Parents are calling, even from Tobago and all. We getting people contacting us, want to be involved in the event taking place on Saturday.
Explain colleges combined. Is it? I'm understanding based on what you're saying. In other words, scouts will be here from various states across colleges in the U.S. Is that what's happening?
Well, we are creating the pathway. GPS is creating the pathway because we have a program, which is GPS Scholarship Program. Mm-hmm. And what we do, we identify talents. Because we have a relationship with a number of major institutions abroad, we identify talents, we put everything together, and then we send it off to the organization, knowing that we already have that relationship with them. So we have that relationship with them. So when we send them information on a particular kid, our word is good as gold with these organizations. They know our reputation is on the line when we send out someone.
So it's GPS that will be looking at some of these kids.
GPS will be looking at some of these kids.
And determining, okay, kid A, kid number A, kid number B, kid number C,
yes,
good enough,
yes,
to go to the next level,
yes,
have a scholarship, an opportunity to have a scholarship, and play football. That's the modus operandi.
Definitely. And let me just take this opportunity to tell you that we are in Trinidad on Saturday, and of course on Monday we are going across to Tobago.
Okay.
So the same thing happens there. So that the Tobago students will also have
an opportunity. Very important. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I breaking it down.
Definitely.
Yes.
That's what it is.
So it's open. It's open. Any child, any young man that played in the SSFL this season has an opportunity to come out there.
Well, basically, what we are targeting 40 young men.
40. So there's a cap.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, we don't want to cap it, but we are looking at 40 at this point in time.
Right. 40 for opportunities?
Opportunities, yes, sir.
Yes. But more than 40.
You have to also qualify in terms of your academics, eh?
Right.
Not just football.
Right.
So we are looking at 40, but of course, once we go beyond that, we will definitely go all the way.
What a student gets the opportunity from GPS to pick up a scholarship? Yes. What's the next step from there?
Well, I can say we have combined in April. Mm-hmm. GPS. I came down and I did a combine in April on TRC grounds. We had over 200 and something kids turn out. Mm-hmm. And I must say to you that Mr. Isaiah Lamont, he went to Fatima College. Mm-hmm. And the space and time to get him into school was very difficult. But we worked some magic. We got him into school. And mind you, the first game he played, he scored. He was given a 95% scholarship to Francis Marion. Mm-hmm. So it proves that we can do it, and he is there and he's performing.
We also have that young man from Benedict who's at the opening game, our season opener. Mm-hmm. GPS coaches were there, of course, and he was spotted, so he's also will be on his way also.
Mm-hmm. This, in your mind, Mr. Wallace, as the president of the SSFL, is, if not the main objective, one of your main objectives?
Definitely.
Getting these students
definitely
to the next level, not only in football, but educationally as well.
We are educators, mm-hmm, and we are preparing student athletes. And definitely what we do have to go beyond the field of play. So what we are doing here now is SSFL is taking it to another level where we walk with the player. So after you go through the gates of the school, there is someone there with you, taking you to the next level, helping to take you to the next level. That's what we're doing at the SSFL at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. GPS is here to work with the SSFL over the long haul, or every year, starting this year, is going to be a long-term relationship?
We're hoping that it's going to be very, very long.
I'm suggesting that parents will be very excited about hearing of this.
We have actually signed off an MOU earlier in the year, so
okay.
we are.
So it's a partnership.
Yeah, it's a marriage.
It's a marriage.
Yeah,
let me just ask, just a curiosity, before GPS, what would have been the road to a scholarship for secondary school players?
All right, well, individual players would have probably made their contacts with foreign coaches.
So it would have been
contacts.
It would have been on the players and the parents.
Definitely. And we want to take that burden away from them at this point in time. And as a matter of fact, as I said, we have created a scholarship program that we want to take out to Corporate Trinidad and Tobago to be able to help us with that.
Yeah.
As I said, to really play a major role in that. Not to leave it up to the young men only, young men and women only to try to get out there.
Yeah. All right. So as I said, guys, you are here based on what's going to be happening on Saturday. But we thought it very timely, based on what we've been doing here on the show for the last few weeks. We did not know it was going to go on for so long, but the debate continues, and we have the president of the SSFL, William Wallace, here with us, along with the man from GPS, Anthony Roy, who is here to basically scout our young student athletes, our young footballers, to take them to the next level academically, as well as footballing wise. So we want to push the question still and look for solutions tonight. When we come back, William Wallace, Anthony Roy, is secondary schools of football helping or hurting our football? Come on back. It's halftime on 6, and we are streaming live on Facebook. Good night to our Facebook audience and wherever you're picking us up across the World Wide Web. And of course, if you missed one of our shows, guys, you can catch the repeat tomorrow at 10 a.m. here on TV6, or any one of our episodes you can check out on our website, tv6tnt.com. Let's continue, because we are in debate mode once again on the show. We have a different perspective here tonight. We have Anthony Roy, who is one of the chief cooks and bottle washers at the Global Premier Soccer Academy, and he is here scouting our players for scholarships. With him is the president of the SSFL, William Wallace. And gents, Anthony, you was telling me off air that you were following the debate online. The debate has been going on, William, for how long now?
Quite some time.
At least about a month, the last month or so. We did not know it was going to ramble on so long. We kept getting more and more different views, different stakeholders within the community coming to us, telling us how important this debate was. We continued it. Anthony, you were telling me that you followed the debate online. Let's get your perspective. Helping or hurting?
Well, it's helping. It's helping a great deal. I think one of the things we need to understand is that these kids are student athletes. We must put that in perspective. And in terms of following this show itself, it's been followed in New York, Canada, New Jersey, where I'm based, a number of places, because soccer is really important to us here in Trinidad and Tobago, and the diaspora, because in our organizations we have a number of Trinidadian coaches there too. So we are in discussions pertaining to it, and all of us pass through the league, the college league, and we want our national teams to do good. We want to see victories. We want to see improvements. So the conversation has been going on. How do we bridge that gap? Because that is where the issue lies now between the college league and the national team. Yeah. And I have come up with some ideas which we have spoken about, and even up to my CEO Bradley, we have been having discussions. My managing director Neil, we've been having discussions pertaining to this, and this is not a one-day discussion. Yeah. It's a continued discussion we have pertaining to this.
You would have heard Russell Latapi's comments, Dennis Lawrence's comments. You mentioned the gap. There is a gap that needs bridging between the secondary school student athletes and the national team. You're in agreement with what Russell Latapi and Dennis Lawrence would have said over the last couple of weeks?
Yes, fully in agreement.
That there's a gap. There's
a gap.
I want to just push it one more. When you played, what year was that? That was back in
the 80s.
Back in the good old 80s.
That's back in the good old 80s.
In your mind, because you would have played, as I said, with the likes of Clint Marcel, and Clint Marcel was one of the names that popped up during the discussion because he was a teenager or the youngest player that walked onto a national team. What's different with the league then and now?
then and now. Well, I can speak from my time when we were playing at that time.
What's different?
It was constant competition for places on a national team. You know, you had problems to really get on a national team. First, to sit on the bench on a national team. It was really problems to get on that squad because you had so much players that were into the game itself, and we weren't just playing the game for playing the game's sake. We weren't being paid to play the game. We were in love with the game. We eat, breathe, sleep this game, and basically that is what it was. I think what is happening now too, and I think some may agree and some might not agree with me, we didn't have much, we did not at that time had a lot of soccer on television. So we play soccer more. Now you have all the leagues around the world. So kids are spending a lot of time now watching the game on television. Now, from a coaching perspective, now that I'm a coach, I look at the game within the game. Kids are looking at the game to see who got a cap and who got dribbled. So it's a whole different ball game you're dealing with now in terms of that gap. And we need to find a solution for it. I think we have a solution to that problem, that we are working on something feverishly with William and the guys pertaining to closing that gap.
All right, so I want to talk solution, but William, before I know you have solutions ready to go. But speaking of that gap, and I really there's a reason why I'm going on, so just bear with me, right?
Sure.
Has that gap widened? From the good old 80s when Anthony would have played with the likes of a Clint Marcel and an Angus Eve and these guys, has that gap widened over the years?
Before we even get to the gap, Joel, and just evaluating the question that was asked, if secondary school football is hurting or helping. And my question, hurting what?
Hurting or football?
Hurting what?
Hurting or football? The position, the position of the other side of the argument is that the secondary school player is not ready to make the transition. And now we have 17, 18, 19-year-olds playing professional football internationally. That's the other side of the argument.
So I want to put that in perspective, Joel. First, one have to understand what is the mandate of the SSFL.
Right.
And the discussion has to start with that. Are we fulfilling our mandate? And I think we are.
Reiterate that mandate for me.
In that we are preparing student athletes. The sport is just a vehicle as another option. But really and truly, the education is what we are into. The sport is an option. Joel, take it back a bit. Even when you get back to the good old days, when thousands were playing then, how many, in terms of percentage, would have been able to walk onto a national team?
Yeah.
We had exceptional players who went on the national teams.
Exactly.
So when we speak about not being able to get on the national teams, just look back at it. Only a couple of players went on the national team, straight onto a national team. Right? So thousands were playing then. Thousands are still playing now. What is important, Joel, all these players play for youth teams, national youth teams. Every single one of them, in terms of SSFL, go on to represent youth teams, under 15s, under 20s, etc. That is where the problem lies. What happens when they move to that level?
To what level?
The youth teams.
The national youth teams.
Exactly. What happens when they move to the national youth teams? And I'm agreeing that there is a gap. There is a gap because, as far as I am concerned, what has to happen with our players? We have to deal with repetition. That is what has to happen. I don't think it has widened. Nothing has been put in place, so the gap still exists.
Right.
Or less has been put in place, I would say.
So there's a position, and why I'm asking if the gap is wide, why I ask you to bear with me, is because the other side of the argument. I'm representing the other side of the argument because I want to get solutions. The other side of the argument is that we are no longer producing the player of the caliber of a Russell Latapi, a Dwight York, a Stern John.
Exceptional players,
yes.
Joel.
And that's a general consensus across the footballing fraternity.
How many Russell Latapis you had in that time? And how many Stern Johns? That's what I'm saying. Thousands were playing.
Right.
But if we really look at the numbers, there were only a couple players that went out and were exceptionally good to have gone straight into something. And those are exceptional players that would come once in every era.
Right.
What has to happen, Joel, is that the powers that be, and the SSFL can't do it, the powers that be that are in charge of football in Trinidad and Tobago.
We're talking the TTF.
So, yes, they have to be able. That gap that we're talking about, they have to play a major role in that gap. What has happened, however, we at the SSFL having be at the position where we realize that nobody's really filling that gap. We are now having a conversation with GPS. And Anthony will be able to tell you about that in a short while. So that we would be able to contribute to filling that gap.
Okay,
but
so GPS is part of the solution?
We are hoping that it is part of the solution, and that will be embraced within the football fraternity of Trinidad and Tobago. Because here we are basically stepping out of our space to do this. This is not our responsibility, but we have seen the gap, understand it, and we are stepping out of our space in collaboration with GPS to try to fill that.
How is GPS going to fill this gap or close this gap so that we can see younger players being mature enough? I think, I mean, Russell Atapi's position was very clear. He took a national under 20 team, albeit that it may not have been a well-prepared on a national.
That's the problem.
And that's right. Okay, that's the problem. But Russell's position was very clear that there were young players there that were still making what he called schoolboy mistakes and not being able to adapt to the international stage. So in other words, he was saying there's schoolboy football and there's international football. Yes, we are producing student athletes. I understand the mandate, but many a year over this course of this beautiful Twin Island Republic, our footballers, we would sit down, all of us would sit down and watch the SSFL and say, hey, that's a player. That's a future national player.
That's two.
So you're saying it's a handful of national players that come out of the school system?
To the level that we are talking about, the exceptions, definitely, the exceptions. But there are other players who would have been just under that level, who would have developed over a period of time. And that is where we have to work, to get those players to develop. And that is where there is a gap.
How is GPS closing that gap?
Well, I think first we got to look at in terms of the kids. If they are only exposed to playing in the college league, you're going to get that sort of result and that standard of football. Not that it is bad, but that is what you're going to get. If you expose these kids and them to a higher level of football and give them that opportunities to go outside and play in tournaments, then it becomes something totally different. I think some of the things that we are missing here is that at a younger age, and I must say, I played with several national youth teams with Russell, with Shaka Hislop and some of these guys at youth level, under 14 and under 12, but we were traveling. We were traveling Mexico, Puerto Rico. We were playing tournaments. We were traveling. We were coming up against some strong opposition, and that raised the standard of football that we were playing. Now, if these kids are not given that opportunity, then, based on the opposition that you're getting in the soccer, will develop your game too, if you're serious about playing the game. And this is what the discussion is about right now, creating that environment, creating the opportunities so these kids can have the opportunity to go outside of Trinidad and Tobago as a unit, not as individuals, but as a unit to go outside and play in tournaments against some of the top clubs around the world, and that is where we are heading right now.
Put that in, and I'm understanding what Anthony is saying. How is that going to happen? Because in other words, what he's saying is that GPS is almost going to fill that gap by putting our players in almost like a professional-like atmosphere, that when they step out onto the national team, they're closer to international standard than schoolboy football.
So we are presently in talks of creating a GPS Trinidad and Tobago team.
Okay.
We have a group of players in constant training.
Okay.
Players who are going to be going out there to play against the club teams, the Manchester United, the Arsenal, the club teams.
So it's almost like a national schoolboy team.
Well, we are looking at that. Well, they are schoolboys, yes, of course, and players who would have just left school, who would probably be attached to our club, but still have an interest in this. We want to be able to work to develop. Because I told you earlier on, we are dealing with here to be able to improve the players. Repetition is crucial. It is crucial. You need to be doing this thing over and over. And that is where it is lacking. So we are going to create that vehicle, right, through the GPS Trinidad team, where we have this group of players, of course. Once you're interested to get in there, we have coaches attached to you. They're going to be working continuously, and they're going to be exposed to international competition.
This is happening locally, or these players will be taken?
Locally.
This is happening locally?
Yes, that's what we are going to set up locally.
with GPS coaches or with local
Well,
coaches?
I guess GPS would have some coaches from the local circuit, of course, involved. They would have the input where they come in with coaches education, bringing in guest coaches and so on from outside to work with the group every now and again and so on.
One of the things, and probably I think I can throw this to you, there was a parent on last week, I believe it was, yes, and one of the things she said, and this is, she was speaking from personal experience and personal know-how with her son and other peers of her son and so on. When they left secondary schools football and they got an opportunity to probably either do a scholarship, go out there, she said basically the coaches had to tell them start from scratch.
Okay.
What you're doing is not what we need you to do. So she was of the view that there has to be something wrong with what is happening at the development level of secondary schools football.
Well, my first question here is I didn't realize one parent, and that is one parent experience. But we have had many players who have gone out there and who would have fitted in quite well, and so that's one experience, right? I'm not sure that is a general thing. But development does not start and end with the secondary schools football. It does not start and end there. It starts way before that. Okay? So a child comes into secondary school as an 11 plus, he should have come basically somewhere down the road. Even before that, he should have been playing.
Yeah.
You don't start playing at that point. And the clubs, the role of the clubs in Trinidad and Tobago, many of the young players are attached to clubs. All right, so we get them for a certain time of the year, but they are also with the club for a major part of their lives. So is it that all the work that is done in the club is undone when they get into secondary school? Is it that what we are saying?
The debate continues. The debate continues. We have the SSFL president, William Wallace, here with us, as well as GPS chief cook and bottle washer, Mr. Anthony Roy. Come on back. It continues.